Charter, UBS, ING, and HSBC. Now, I emphasized in the article that focus on foreign banks shouldn't be allowed to obscure the risks that the rest of the domestic banking industry still faced. And I cited in particular in that article the overhang of the mortgage-backed securities investigations and litigations pending against both domestic and large foreign banks. And certainly 2013 has brought into high relief the question of the mortgage-backed security contingencies in the banking system. And it appears to be of the broadest potential application to the banking industry, both large domestic banks and large foreign banks exposed to the contingent liabilities arising out of the mortgage securitization process, particularly in 2006 and 2007. And as you know, there have been press stories, in fact, we're awash with press stories, about the potential settlements. JP Morgan Chase has settled last Friday, as you know, at $5.1 billion with the, with the Justice Department, and is reported to be in negotiations to seek a global settlement on certain of its mortgage-backed securities at $13 billion, including, and I want to return to this, including activities that are attributable to Bear Stearns and Washington Mutual, which, as Jerry pointed out, were acquired at the height of the financial crisis. According to law enforcement authorities, the proposed JP Morgan Chase settlement will serve as a template for settlements with other large banks, and recent press reports have indicated that the Justice Department is investigating at least 9 other large banks, both domestic and foreign, as part of the work of the same task force that is negotiating the proposed settlement with JP Morgan Chase. And you may have also read last week the Justice Department, in a civil fraud action, prevailed against Bank of America's countrywide subsidiary relating to the sale of certain mortgage-backed securities and mortgages to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So the exposure to mortgage-backed security liability is taking on a significant weight in the U.S. and indeed foreign banking sectors. It should be recalled that 3 of the 4 largest U.S. banks significantly increased their exposure to contingent mortgage-backed securities liabilities by assisting the government in 2008 by acquiring firms that were major originators of mortgage-backed securities, including Countrywide, Merrill Lynch, Bear Stearns, and Washington Mutual. For me, it seems to me the policy issue in hindsight, admittedly in hindsight, is whether the government itself inadvertently increased the exposure of the banking system to these claims by promoting these acquisitions, admittedly, to forestall at the time what appeared to be a greater financial crisis. If those particular firms had failed in 2008, holding aside the systemic implications, the fraud and putback claims against those entities would have been settled and paid at a very low cents on the dollar. That's what happened in New Century. That's what happened in a number of the other mortgage originators that failed and went into bankruptcy in 2007 and 2008, and is likely to be the outcome for similar claims in the Lehman bankruptcy. That outcome will be quite different when those claims are made against